Let's see, we had Yada win the previous match, if I am not mistaken, from tuning into the stream. Saw him go for a very nice big push in that mid game with just that really, really big, nice Colossus ball. Very nice little push out there by Yada.
Yeah, no, it was a really impressive game, actually. Looks like he has the same pylon placement he did last game. That confused me. Do you happen to have any insight as to why he put his pylon next to his Nexus?
You know, I don't know. The big thing that I see that Protoss players do a lot with this pylon placement is that they just don't like to have all their buildings exposed there at the front, just because for Terran, pretty much all of their units are ranged units, so they can have access by getting just near that ledge. If they put a bunch of Terrans, Marines, and Marauders down at that lower ramp, they can scan up onto the top, start picking off buildings and pylons and things. And it can be very annoying for Protoss players to have your gateways that you built in the early game all just get shut down right at the front. So a lot of times they will build them back at their base just to be a little bit safer for their buildings.
Indeed. All right, so this is a pretty big. Oh, that was an awkward scout. We have a pretty big. What am I trying to say? I'm sorry, I'm terribly sick and I'm like losing my mind here.
Not a problem at all. Both players are going to be scouting right now. Both are going to be spotting, well, they're not going close by ground because I believe, I didn't actually notice what version of the map this was. Yeah, this is the MLG version of the map. That supply depot is there at the bottom of the ramp, so that of course means that they cannot spawn in close by ground position. So it looks like both players are aware of this, immediately scouting to the other side of the map. As they are cross positions, this is of course going to be a little bit easier for a more long-term match, just because we're more likely to see macro style play from this long rush distance. It's a little bit harder to rush your opponents on these cross positions.
We definitely are, and something interesting to note actually, we have a 1 Rax FE from Pride, and only 1 gas still from Yata, so I'm expecting a relatively fast expansion because he's already at 23 supply and hasn't taken that second gas yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also the fact that he produced that Zealot before he produced that Stalker, I think is a pretty decent indicator that he's going to be fairly defensive. It is possible to get a little bit aggressive with that first Zealot, but a lot of times if players want to get real aggressive, they can get that first Stalker out, get it across the map, start doing a little bit of harassment, because a properly controlled Stalker can actually deal a lot of damage to Terran armies early on, especially one like Pride has right now where he has only got Marines. Stalkers, of course, have a little bit faster movement speed than Marines do, so they do have the ability to kite them just a little bit. So that can be very dangerous for some Terran players. And you'll see a lot of Korean players do that. Well, they'll push out with that very early first Stalker, try to get a lot of early kills in, try to see if they can't do some damage at the beginning of the game.
Definitely. And we actually have Yata taking his expansion off of only 1 gateway here, so we do have a very fast expansion from both players, about as fast as you can get. And
yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, 4 more barracks going up for Pride really quickly here.
Yeah, those are actually a lot of barracks going up for Pride right now. Looks like he's going to be going into, what's that, 4 racks coming up, bringing him up to a total of 5 barracks that are going to be up. Notice he has not started mining any gas at all yet, strictly going to be producing lots and lots of Marines out of those barracks, and going to have to see whether he's going to be getting add-ons here really quickly as these barracks finish up, or whether he's just going to be leaving them naked and bare for a while. This is something that we're starting to see out of Terrans much more commonly. They're starting to get a lot of barracks out very early on, more than they can actually handle if they were to have add-ons on them, but as their economy ramps up and as they start to get this natural expansion more and more saturated, they'll start to throw down add-ons that allow them to start spending more and more money a little bit quicker.
Yeah, definitely. And so, you know, normally if we see 3 or 4 barracks, that's pretty normal after a 1 Rax expand, but 5 is a lot. I think we're going to see a ton of pressure of just pure unupgraded Marine for a while, and probably straight into a fast third with gas.
That may actually be. That would actually be very interesting to see. Wouldn't be too surprised. Again, this is long rush distances on this map, so it's very hard to get a big army to your opponent very early on in this game. So taking a lot of expansions is generally what you want to do. You want to be on the economic side of things anytime you spawn in these kind of cross positions. As you can see, both players are going to be doing that, as now Yata is also adding on more warp gates and adding on a robotics facility as well. Gonna have to see if he's going to be going for those Colossi once again. We did see him favoring those Colossi against Zerg. Will he be doing the same against Terran?
Yeah, and oh my goodness, we have a solid 16 Marines moving across the map against only 4 Zealots and 4 Sentries. So we're going to have to see some excellent Force Field and Guardian Shields here in order to defend this.
Absolutely, yeah, it is all going to come down to the Force Fields here, because if he's able to Force Field some of those Marines into a pack, cut them in half, those Zealots will cut right through those Marines like butter. They go through Marines so fast when the Marines just don't have an opportunity to kite, and good Force Fields is the key to not allowing those Marines to kite.
Yeah, we actually had a lot of energy being used there and not an engagement from Yata. So actually, a little bit further here, and oh, there are just
oh, there go the force fields down by Yata now. Now those Zealots are cutting through so many of the Marines. Look at how many of those Marines are falling to those Zealots once they are force fielded and stuck there. But there are so many Marines coming across the map. If we check out the middle of the map, we can see that those Marines are streaming across the map 5 at a time. So much pressure being dealt, and I think Yata is actually going to lose this Nexus.
Yeah, and this is going to put Yata way behind. He sacrificed a lot of his tech to get this Nexus out early, and as it goes down, he is going to not feel good about his chances in this game. He is throwing down a robotics bay right now to try to get Colossus out as quickly as possible, but we already have a factory on the way for Pride.
Yeah, I would say he is in a lot of trouble right now. He is in emergency mode right now. He's trying to chrono boost out an Immortal. Immortals are not even that particularly good against Marines, but he just needs to get out as many units as he possibly can to try to defend this, because right now all he can do is buy time with these sentries, and he is running really low on sentry energy. Oh, and he almost lost the one sentry that still has enough energy to force field.
Yeah, Pride doing... Oh, and he had to use 2 force fields to block off the ramp that time.
Absolutely, that is not a good move. You don't want to have to use 2 force fields to block off that ramp, because every force field here is buying him quite a bit of time. Each force field lasts 15 seconds, so that is going to be a huge difference as to if he has that one extra force field. And oh, he kind of misses that last one just a little bit. He attributes that loss to lag, and he GG's out of this game.
So a very, very, very fast, unique game from Pride, really putting on a ton of pressure with his expansion, and that is going to end game number 4 very, very quickly.
Absolutely. Pride once again showing that he is in very, very good control of early aggression type games. We've seen this in tournaments before from Pride, as we saw in our last match against Poly Pomona. He had all those early aggression builds where he would just do so much damage early on with so much good unit control and just a lot of very well thought out early aggression builds.
Indeed. Alright, so we'll be back with game number 5 in just a few minutes here, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, in between games here, just a reminder, go follow Team aiR, an up-and-coming new StarCraft 2 pro team. Go follow us on Twitter, go follow us on Facebook, follow us everywhere, man. We're gonna be big. Be the first ones to know about us, that's right.
Let's go.
All right, so we are back here with game number 5 between these two teams, LaG.TT and Team aiR. And why don't you go ahead and do the intros for me here, Glitch?
Absolutely. Spawning in the bottom right position as the purple Protoss, we have Cuz. At least I'm assuming that's. I have no idea how to say that name. I was looking at that name trying to figure out how on earth to say that name. But that is our purple Protoss player that is going to be playing in the bottom right corner, and he is going to be playing for LaG.TT.
Indeed, and on the left-hand side of Shakura's Plateau, on the bottom, we do have the winner from the last game, our Blue Terran Pride, with Team aiR currently up 3-1.
Absolutely. Gonna have to see what Pride can do. In that previous tournament that we did see with Cal Poly Pomona, Pride did extremely well. I think he knocked out, 3 of their players? I think he did 3 best of 3s in a row, knocked out 3 of Cal Poly Pomona's players right in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That is correct. It was all really creative play, too. I mean, we saw really, really impressive, terrifying play, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pride definitely a top-tier player, but Cuz was Grandmasters last season, and Grandmasters hasn't come out this season, of course, quite yet, but this is going to be a very interesting match, as we have another Protoss coming out of LaG.TT here.
Oh man, I should be super excited for this match. Oh my god, Grandmaster? I don't know, do you happen to know what Pride is ranked on the ladder?
Pride is a top Masters. I think he was a top 100 or something on the Masters ladder,
Okay.
not including Grandmasters, so very, very, very good Terran.
Yeah, I'll be super excited to see how he's going to play because, like I said, last time, in that last tournament that we saw against Cal Poly Pomona, he just did so ridiculously well. A lot of players, even in the Masters League, will have very, very carefully thought out builds for their opponents. That's not terribly uncommon. What's uncommon is having the variety of builds that we saw out of Pride in that previous game. He had all different builds that he was doing for various 1 base aggression, 2 base aggression, and moving on. Always had more economic moves behind his aggression as well, and that is what made him really, really good.
Yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see here as we have Pride taking a gas this game against the Protoss. So maybe something map specific, maybe Banshees. We're going to have to find out in a couple minutes here.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of things he can do here. Lots of them are going to be early aggression focused. Hellions, of course, an option. Not very common against Protoss, but it is an option. The fact that we don't see a quick double gas means that if he's going to do Banshees, they're going to be a little bit slower Banshees, but we do now see a factory here going down for Pride, so who knows, might maybe see some Hellions, or maybe he's just going to be going for very, very quick mech and going for a very early siege tank timing.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, we did see something like that from Pride before, but he is taking that second gas now, so it's going to be very, very heavy tech out of